Whoa. I think I just figured something out, Beavis.
What?
This sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
Viewers of the channel will know that I am the conductor of the Burn the Snyder Cut movement. Unfortunately, I never got the traction that the release of Snyder Cut movement got. But, you know, I think most people know how I feel about Zack Snyder's DCEU. I think it was a massive failure. I think Warner Brothers, for the most part, would agree with me as far as the box office returns. It had diminishing returns as it went along. In the moment, I thought Man of Steel was okay, but in retrospect, it gets worse and worse. Batman versus Superman was atrocious. Justice League was even worse. But I always get the pushbacks like, "Oh, you just want Christopher Reeve's Superman. You just want some lame Superman. Zack Snyder's the man that really gets Superman." And I've maintained all along that he hates Superman. And today we have further proof that I don't believe he feels too kindly about Clark Kent. He probably feels about him like he's a bumpkin, he's a rube from a flyover state, and he kind of wants to erase that kind of part of that character out. He said so much in some quotes. We're not going to get into that so much today. But here to talk with me about this. Now, we've never really talked about the Snyderverse, Perch.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might be a release the Snyder Cut kind of guy. But let's talk about what I think is further proof that Zack Snyder hates Superman.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I have nothing against. I think that releasing the Snyder Cut is a good idea, but like you, I don't think the films were going in a good direction. I think I think Warner was hoping they'd catch, and I think they were using a lot of stylistic things. And I don't have a Zack Snyder hate. I think I enjoyed Sucker Punch. I'm the one guy. But it wasn't a direction that was taking with fans in the same way certainly the Marvel Universe was. And I know that was disappointing. But at the same time, I also believe people should finish what they start. And so the idea that we had this Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder abomination, I think it's good that they're allowing that film to pass, especially given the circumstances. However, I think what we're about to talk about is a revelation in that film that I'm certainly not excited about.
So there are many reasons I think that Zack Snyder doesn't get Superman and likely just doesn't like the character, borderline hates him. Just, you know, the way that he had him raised by his parents, the Kents, within the Man of Steel movie. Like his father was insinuating that he shouldn't save people. He essentially let his dad die for no reason. He killed 1 million people fighting Zod at the end of the film. There's a lot of stuff that's strange about the character. Just the overall dour tone of the character. He's not hopeful, stuff like that. But we did get news from Zack Snyder. He was talking about ideas that he had for his Justice League movie. And once Superman died in Batman versus Superman, one of his plot points was going to be that Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne were going to hook up and like be in a romantic relationship. And that like Bruce Wayne was going to have to make the ultimate sacrifice, his new relationship, in order to save the world when he brought Superman back.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea.
I can't. I'm glad Warner Brothers nixed it, but I'm not surprised he came up with it. But it just feels like an even bigger dump on Superman, Clark Kent, the legacy, and who the character is, and even Lois Lane herself, as if she would just leave her dead, would have been a fiance at the time, and go for Bruce Wayne.
No, I think it makes everybody look worse. Including Bruce. I think it doesn't add to the story. I think it's subtractive to everybody involved. And I think there's something kind of cool or good or that you can build on with the idea that maybe Bruce and Lois did form a friendship after the death and they kind of went their separate ways, and you can have characters interact with each other and do things without them fucking. Sorry, children. But it's weird that it would be pushed to that level because it doesn't speak to Lois and the character had been built up there. It just makes Superman look like kind of a dope. And I think Bruce, that's a dumb sacrifice. Well, I don't know. He could save the world, but then I'd have to stop begging Lois. I don't know. That's not Bruce. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm not shocked that Zack Snyder came up with it, but just it feels like Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder specifically would love to just leave Clark Kent and Superman and everything that the character stands for, for the last 80 years in the wake of Bruce Wayne and Batman. I understand he's the more important character. He's the breadwinner at DC Comics, Warner Media nowadays, just as far as movies and stuff. He's the one that draws eyeballs, but you don't have to go and sacrifice the legacy of Clark Kent, Superman, just to elevate that Bruce Wayne. He's already elevated.
Yeah, I mean, I think the take that Zack Snyder had for Superman was really to kind of lean into the alien aspect of him, where he is not of this earth, and he's trying to learn it, and he understands some human values, but at his core, he isn't human. He acts and behaves in a different way. He was filming him and had him behave, and just to really highlight the otherworldness of it. And it feels like
he wanted Superman to feel like a deity on Earth rather than an alien refugee on Earth.
Right. Yeah, just not of this earth and above it to some extent. I mean, we saw a lot of moments that kind of highlighted that in the filming. And I think that was, that this is kind of another example of that, of human relationships are beneath him in this way, or any kind of relationships beneath him because he is a deity. I think that's what they kind of wanted to go for. And this idea could kind of lean into that a little bit, but again, it just makes everybody look like a dope. Lois was a big tether that Clark had to the world, so having that interfere is weird. Having Bruce, who's all about kind of the sacrifice and kind of building up from it. I mean, it doesn't make sense for his character. Lois just seems like she's a star chaser. It's bad for everybody.
Yeah, when you think about, obviously the on-screen portrayal of Superman by Henry Cavill, not his fault, isn't exactly in line with what we've previously known as Superman. But I can't imagine two diametrically opposed superheroes between Superman and Batman. It just looks weird for Lois as a character. How could you go from Superman and then, I'm in love with Bruce Wayne now? It doesn't make sense.
Though the only aspect of that would work is if you do, reveal that Lois just likes to sleep with heroes. I mean, that is her core personality, which isn't her core personality, isn't interesting for that character. I mean, she can move on to Aquaman next. He's got the abs, so you do that. But it doesn't. This whole plot doesn't help anything. And I think when you're introducing these kinds of elements, you have to ask yourself: is this increasing the movie? Is it adding depth to it? Is it adding something to the film? And I mean, the pull here is that, Bruce Wayne is going to have to, sacrifice his new relationship in order to bring Clark back. But that's not an interesting sacrifice. It's completely unnecessary. So yeah, I'm glad that they're not having it. I mean, I'll say it. I wish Christopher Reeves had done like 20 movies. I love the Christopher Reeves Superman. I wouldn't want to see those today for many reasons, but I wish we got more of those films. They were wonderful. I have no problem with them doing a new take on Superman. I'm cool with that too. But I think that there's some story elements that just don't help, and this is one of them.
Yeah, a weird love triangle. If it would have made sense anywhere, it would have been before BVS. Maybe that would have been the reason they decided to fight, And obviously, Superman had to be bested by Batman in that one and basically beg for his mother's life, getting him out of that pickle. Like, how many times can you prove that Batman, Bruce Wayne is, better than Superman?
Yeah, it's very odd, and it's always odd when movies decide to, and stories like this decide to kind of get in the way of what the fans are saying. Let the fans naturally pick between Batman and Superman. You don't need to nudge it along, and especially kind of nod to, like, we know we sell more Batman comics, so we're going to have Batman kind of show up Superman here. Why are you doing that? Just let the people buy and enjoy what they want and call it a day. You don't need to do this stuff. And I think it's that kind of overthinking that leads to films like this and weird plots like this and the linear verse and other things. Yeah.
I'll just say this. I'm glad the Snyder Cut is here. I'm glad it's coming out. It obviously it'll be out on I believe March 18th. Hopefully everyone gets to watch it. I think we'll be able to go see and say that was Zack Snyder's vision for Justice League better than what Joss Whedon put out? Like in the end, probably, but not so significantly better that it should continue on with that version of the DCU. I'm just ready for this chapter of DC characters and the DC characters on film just to be over. I'm ready for Zack Snyder to kind of move out of that position, go on with his professional life, make some movies that he wants to make, because he just, in my opinion, he just never got what made DC's universe special, the hopeful aspects of the universe. He certainly never got what made Superman special. I don't even think he got Batman more right than Superman, but I'm just ready for it to be over. It feels like we've got some things happening in the DCEU that are more in line with what I would like to see with the characters, and I'm hopeful of brighter days ahead after the Snyder cuts out, and then I guess everyone will be clamoring for the Goyer cut.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm anxious to I'm anxious to kind of move on. It's time for DC to kind of try something different and go for a different approach, and I think this legacy, it'll be good for it to be out, but this legacy of this whole controversy is kind of holding them back at this point. So let's get it out and let's see what comes next.
All right, Perch, I do appreciate the time. I will see you later, and the next time we talk, I'm going to be 43 years old.
And happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.